Great racing in prospect this weekend. There's a big crowd here as well, and one of the heroes they've come to see is Per Eklund. The Swede in the Saab, always one of the real characters of the European Rallycross Championship. And around this Swedish circuit, he really is promising to do great things. To find out what the track is like, strap yourself in. On board with Per Eklund. Watch his hands, watch his feet, and just watch this. This a lap of the circuit. He says this is the crucial start. The first turn is a very sharp right, but the inner track that the cars use here is actually best, but it's hard to keep the speed up, and that's going to be the deciding factor, depending on who uses the conventional track or the alternative route. Now we go on to the alternative track. It's a little bit longer. It takes 2 seconds or so longer, but it's very narrow. You come back onto the circuit, the traffic coming from the left, so you've got to watch out. Then into this bank left corner. It's a very slippery part of the circuit, and now to the fastest part of the track, where you're at almost 200 kilometers an hour, and then you have to brake on the gravel before going onto the tarmac. The next right, he says, is a stupid right. There have been lots of accidents here. And then we come to the jump, where you fly for about 20 to 30 metres, straight down to the final turn. And this has a very tricky approach. It's important not to let the car run too wide. And that is a lap of Hüljesbanen. So we're ready then for the action. This Swedish round of the European Championship begins in Division 1. The lights go out, away they blast. Michael Jernberg then, one of the drivers to look for here in the red Ford Focus. And he leads then as they make their way over the first of the jumps. Michael Jernberg being urged on by the crowd. There's Stig Olaf Wolfridsson there, number 26, and also Jean-Luc Payet, one to watch in number 7. It's Jernberg ahead then. The Ford Focus leads. Lots of dust being kicked up as the cars get themselves airborne. It's a very spectacular circuit here. Jernberg being pushed along by Wolfridsson. Michael Jernberg clips the tyres, accelerates his way from the alternative route back onto the normal circuit, and now accelerating his way around the lap. He's building up the lead. Lots of understeer there. You can see how hard he's working, wrestling with the car. But Michael Jernberg now looks like he's getting away from the rest of them. Jernberg airborne. He's heading for victory then within this heat, and it looks as though not only is it going to be a heat win, it's also going to be a very, very good time indeed. Michael Jernberg comes through. He's fastest so far. Let's see what the opposition can do. Andreas Eriksson is on the line for this race. So is Tommy Rushdat. So is Morten Bermingrud. There's Carl Gunnar Lundqvist as well. And that alternative circuit we're talking about, everybody has to do what's called the Joker lap and use the alternative route once during the course of a race, and that's to try and shake up the order. Everybody then blasts off the line. There's a bit of leaning going on down to the first corner. Bermingrud, I think it is, who leads, or is it no? Rushdat goes by and gets turned sideways, and off he goes. Tommy Rushdat has a big, big slide. He manages to hang on to it, but Morten Bermingrud then now goes through. Carl Gunnar Lundqvist goes for the Joker lap. It's Morten Bermingrud leading, Tommy Rushdat second. Now what can he do to get himself back ahead of the Citroën? You can see that slightly banked corner that Per Eklund was talking about, but Bermingrud is getting away. Andreas Eriksson third, and a fantastic shot there as the cars launch themselves over the jump. Bermingrud sideways, Rushdat tries to get up on the inside, they lean on each other. Morten Bermingrud is only just ahead, and Tommy Rushdat there right up behind him. They go for the Joker lap, sprinting their way back onto the normal circuit, if you like. They're still nose to tail, and Rushdat denied a chance to find a way past Bermingrud, but where is he going to try next? He gets a tap in the tail, and that delays him. Rushdat a little bit slow then, coming back onto the power, and Morten Bermingrud launches himself over that jump. He leads. Bermingrud is going to come through to win the heat by the look of it. Bermingrud wins. Tommy Rushdat finishes second, Carl Gunnar Lundqvist third, and Andreas Eriksson is fourth. Kenneth Hansen and Lars Larsson on the grid here, the two Swedes. Larsson ready for action, away they go. Sverre Isaksson is in there as well. Down towards the first corner. Let's see who's going to come initially as the race leader. Well, Kenneth Hansen, it is not, because the Citroën is down in second. Lars Larsson goes for the Joker lap though. Sverre Isaksson, it is up front, he's leading. And Kenneth Hansen is now right on his tail. Ford ahead of Citroën. Kenneth Hansen, vastly successful champion. He's dominated European Rallycross really since the retirement of Martin Skanker, but even so, he's going to be pressed hard this weekend on his own home ground. Sverre Isaksson, the race leader, the Norwegian, is ahead at the moment. Kenneth Hansen going after him, but the Ford at the moment looking like it's getting away. There is Isaksson serving his Joker lap, and he still gets back on ahead of Hansen. The Ford ahead of the Citroën now. Sverre Isaksson with again loads of understeer ahead of Hansen's Citroën C4. It's Lars Larsson third. The Skoda driver now trying to inch up onto the back of those ahead of him. Very crossed up is Isaacson, very airborne is Kenneth Hansen. You can see it's a very spectacular part of the circuit. Then you arrive at that last corner so fast, it's difficult not to run wide, but Sverre Isaacson hangs on in there. He wins the heat, he sets the best time in the first round of heats in Division 1 from Hansen, Jernberg, Larsen and Morten Bermingrud, 5th quickest. We're off to Division 1A now with Ronnie Larsen on the grid. Michael de Keersmacher is there. Ronnie Larsen with a new Peugeot 307. Got to look pretty quick in practice. Let's see how it gets on in racing. He's up against the former Junior World Rally Championship spec Opel Corsa in the hands of Michael de Keersmacher, and it is indeed Ronnie Larsen in the lead at the moment. De Keersmacher tucks in second place then as they thread their way around the circuit for the first time. Larsen writ large on the front of the Peugeot, and he leads then with Michael de Keersmacher tucked up behind him in second place. As they come then through that right-hander, lots of understeer from both of them, just as we saw with the Division 1 cars. And then, although they don't get quite as airborne and travel for as far in the air as the Division 1 cars, they're still very spectacular over the jump. Larsen goes a little bit wide. De Keersmacher now up on the inside as they come over the line. The Peugeot staying ahead of the Opel then. This time to the Joker lap goes Larsen. De Keersmacher slowed a little bit, and now he's coming under pressure as well. De Keersmacher grabs the advantage, but look, he really is under great pressure for the lead of the race. Michael de Keersmacher maybe a little bit tentative on that second lap, and so now right up behind him, you can see the pressure being applied. Ronnie Larsen is there in third. De Keersmacher flings himself over the jump. Is he going to be able to come through to score victory? We'll see in a moment. There is Ronnie Larsen in third. Larsen accelerating his way up over the line, but de Keersmacher now is gone, isn't he? He's pulling away. Ronnie Larsen back up into second place. De Keersmacher comes through. Michael de Keersmacher is going to win, and Ronnie Larsen will be second in this heat. There's the checkered flag. Victory goes the way of Michael de Keersmacher. Ronnie Larsen second, and staying in Division 1A. Harry Dieland driving number 123 coming up onto the grid. Pavel Wimmer 112. Eduard Leganov is there as well, and Per Gustafsson number 120 is another driver to keep an eye to, and I think Gustafsson is going to make the best start as they head down towards the first corner. He's not quite able to grab the advantage. Indeed, through into the lead goes Harry Dieland. Behind him is Pavel Wimmer, and it looks as though, yes, Gustafsson has gone for the Joker lap immediately. Now, therefore, although he's a little bit further back, he can just put his head down and concentrate on catching up onto the back of everybody else. And as they peel off to serve the Joker lap, then he should be able to come through. Harry Dieland then in the lead, serves the Joker lap, the slower Joker lap this time. And there is Gustafsson. He is now up front. The Swedish driver being urged on by a very vocal, very patriotic home crowd here. Gustafsson then drops the Peugeot back onto the deck. He's on target to win this heat now. Checkered flag at the ready. Victory goes to Per Gustafsson. Through he comes. Harry Dieland finishing in second place. And now Morten Jespersen, amongst others, head to the grid for their first race in Division 1A. Out go the lights, away they go. Morten Jespersen drives 103. There's Jaroslav Kalny in 102 and Tony Kjella in 131. And just grabbing the advantage, Morten Jespersen, but right up behind him, Jaroslav Kalny, who forces a way up alongside, then backed out of that manoeuvre, having turned his opponent sideways. So it is Morten Jespersen in the lead, Jaroslav Kalny right up behind him, and these two disappearing from the rest now. Over the jump, Jespersen leading, Kalny second, and that gap is widening between the pair. Morten Jespersen here on target to take the checkered flag. Jespersen wins and now is also quickest within the class. Spectators then enjoying the weather, enjoying the action as well as we go back to Division 1 for the second round of heats. Stig-Olaf Alfredsson, Tony Kroon and Jan Hoibs all on the grid. Out go the lights, the cars blast away from the grid. And let's see now who is going to make the best start then. It's Stig-Olaf Alfredsson then who takes the advantage, but only just because there Tony Kroon is right up behind him. The two of them run nose to tail. Alfredsson now trying to break away. You can see that Kroon is second, Jan Hoibs is there in third. And you can also now see how dusty it is. The amount of dust being kicked into the face of those behind the race leader. Pretty serious. This is Stig-Olaf Alfredsson's view though. Clear circuit ahead of him. That corner has caught many out with understeer in the pass. He survives it. He launches himself over the jump, kicks the back of the car out, threads the car around the bend, takes the checkered flag, and Stig-Olaf Alfredsson wins this heat. Up to the grid though now come the cars for the next race, including Jean-Luc Payet. The lights will go out any moment. They do so now. The Frenchman was only 16th quickest in the first round of heat, so he's got to do better here. Koen Pavels tucks in behind. The Peugeot leads then. Koen Pavels in second place, and Jean-Luc Payet here should be able to break away pretty easily from the opposition. Payet it is, up front then, threading his way back onto the tarmac, sprinting his way now down towards this long left-hander, then over the jump. Fantastic shot of the Peugeot, totally airborne. Jean-Luc Payet, he's going to win, but he's not been that quick, and again, his time doesn't look all that good. He's only 9th fastest overall. To the line now comes Kenneth Hansen, Andreas Eriksson, Lars Larsson, they're all there. Out go the lights. Per Eklund is in this one as well as they blast down to the first corner. There's contact. Larsson gets pierced across the front. He sorts himself out, but that will have cost him a great deal of time, and Andreas Eriksson is the one that benefits from all of that. Eriksson leading. There you can see in second place, number 1, Kenneth Hansen. He's back on the power, pressing on. Up through the gears they go, over the jump. Andreas Eriksson leads, but Kenneth Hansen is hunting down the Ford Fiesta ahead of him now. The Citroën C4, a car in its first year of competition this season, inching up onto the back now as they go this time for the Joker lap. Peeling their way through the chicane, look then onto the loose. And this brings them back onto the tarmac through the dust storm. And Kenneth Hansen gets back on only just ahead of Per Eklund. Hansen, who remains the benchmark driver, but he's not really being able to stay in as tight this time behind Andreas Eriksson. The Citroën gets airborne, sparks fly as it lands. Per Eklund in third place in this heat. Kenneth Hansen, though, comes through to win. Andreas Eriksson, having served the Joker lap, almost then gets muscled off at the last corner.
Yeah, this heat was really good. The start was not so well for me, but after I had really good speed in the car, and I feel home now. So I think it will be brilliant in for the third heat and the finals.
And on now to some of the drivers who are amongst the fastest in the first round of heats. Michael Jernberg lines up on the grid. Sverre Isaacson is there, so also is Morten Bermingrud, and this should be another very lively race indeed. Out go the lights and away they blast from the 5 abreast start line down towards the first corner. They all manage to contrive to bump into one another, but Jernberg and Isaacson go first and second. Morten Bermingrud dives round the outside. Bermingrud goes for the Joker lap, and that means that up into third place comes Carl Gunnar Lundqvist. Michael Jernberg leads Sverre Isaacson then. First and second, the two Ford Focuses running together. Back onto the tarmac through that slightly banked left-hander. The speed building over the jump. It is Jernberg ahead of Isaacson, who's closing, coming down to the corner. The two almost touch. Isaacson hunting for a non-existent gap at the moment. Over the line they go, over the Joker lap part of the circuit they go. That extra little bit of the circuit built in, and you can see with it being on gravel, it's also very dusty, very rutted. It delays them, they get sideways, but Jernberg is still there. He fights the car back onto the road, accelerates his way to the hairpin now. Sverre Isaacson going after him. This is Isaacson's view, sitting in the dust storm. The circuit may need a bit of watering, I think, before the end of the weekend here, because it is getting very, very dusty indeed. Michael Jernberg it is, getting himself airborne then, accelerating once more up towards the completion of a race. There's the checkered flag, another victory goes his way then.
Yeah, no, I have a very good speed in the car, and I like this track very much. So now in the first heat I have third time, and now I have the first time. So in the third heat I should try to beat them again and to have pole position in the A final, and when we should fight very hard to win the race.
So at the end of round 2 of the heats in Division 1, Jernberg's the quickest from Kenneth Hansen and Tommy Rustad. Per Eklund's 4th and Morten Bermingrud is 5th, and there's more action right after the break. Welcome back to Höljesbanan here in Sweden. It's round 5 of the FIA European Rallycross Championship, and we're looking at cars in Division 2 lining themselves up then, with Roman Jastral being amongst them, Magnus Eriksson and Tommy Schlastad in this race as well. Out go the lights and away they go, with Jastral leaning there on Magnus Eriksson as they head down towards the first corner, but Jastral in the Opel Astra takes over the lead. Roman Jastral then ahead of Magnus Eriksson, who just clips the back of him, gets him all sideways. Eriksson goes for the Joker lap. The extra bit of the route that's been built into all the circuits under the regulations this year to try to encourage even more overtaking. So Roman Jastral leads in his rather battle-scarred Opel Astra. In second place is Magnus Eriksson. Tommy Schlastad third, although Schlastad I think might also be able to make a move in a moment. He has. Schlastad goes second now. Roman Jastral it is in the lead. Is he going to be able to come through and score victory in the heat here? Tommy Schlastad still chasing the Jastral. Sooner or later he's going to have to make his run through the Joker lap. Tommy Schlastad tucked up behind him. Now, though, the Joker lap is served by Jastral, who gets back ahead of Ericsson, and they touch there. Contact between the two. Ericsson bounces wide. Jastral tries to pick his way across the grass. Ericsson in all sorts of woes. He may well have got broken suspension. They're a legacy of the contact. Here's his view of how it all happened. Jastral ahead of him. Ericsson goes for a gap. I reckon there was just about enough room for him. But contact between the two, and then as he bounces over the curb, something breaks. Tommy Schlastad takes over the lead. That's what breaks. Wheel comes off. So Magnus Ericsson then with a three-wheel Honda out of the race. And Roman Jastral in the Opel Astra that looks ever more battered is going to be the race winner. Checkered flag at the ready. Jastral victorious from Schlastad. The final heats in Division 1A here. Jussi Pinomäki on the grid. Jimmy Fastbo, Danik Chermak are all there. The lights go out and everybody rockets away from the line. Who's going to make the best start? Pinomäki it is then. A former Division 2 champion it is who grabs the advantage, although he's going to be given a hard time, I think, here. Jimmy Fastbo, he's a very quick driver. Fastbo serving his Joker lap this time, and Pinomäki here trying to pull out an advantage. The Renault breaking clear of the opposition. The Mad Croc sponsored car of Jussi Pinomäki it is up front then as the opposition launches themselves over the yump there. Jimmy Fastbo trying to find his way back into contention. The car's accelerating their way over the line. And Fastbo now hunting down Pinomäki. Jussi Pinomäki leads. Jimmy Fastbo tries the outside as they come into that last corner. Can Jussi Pinomäki hang on? There's the checkered flag. Pinomäki just comes through to win the heat. But that was very close indeed. We're back in Division 1 then now. Stig-Olof Wolfridsson, Mats Holmen and also Tony Kroon all in this race. The lights go out and away they go down towards turn 1. And not surprisingly, it's Wolfridsson who makes the best start. Tony Kroon there in the yellow Ford on the outside. Looks like he's heading for the Joker lap. Yes, he is. He gets that out of the way early on then. Stig-Olof Wolfridsson is in the lead of the race now. Wolfridsson it is, up front, the Citroën. Very quick it's been this weekend in his hands. And now trying to build up as big an advantage as he possibly can. He's airborne over the yump. He comes down there into this last corner on the lap. Very, very difficult corner to get absolutely right. It's a very fast approach. It's a very, very tight corner as well. Over the line then goes Wolfridsson. This time he goes to serve his Joker lap. He uses the slightly longer route, longer by a couple of seconds. Gets back onto the circuit on the loose part, kicks up the dust into the face of those behind. But it looks as though Wolfridsson then is going to be on target to win the heat. And let's see where the time is going to be good enough to put him. He goes 6th fastest overall. That should be pole for the B final. Up to the grid then now come the remaining cars in Division 1. Harold Zachve being amongst them. Out go the lights and away they go down there towards turn 1. Jos Kuipers though makes a very good start. There's also Pavel Kautny in this. Andreas Eriksson gets shoveled off wide. Eriksson eats dust. And up front then I think it's going to be Kuipers and also Pavel Kautny who come through up front. It's the Ford in the lead at the moment, and that therefore means Jos Kuipers is ahead. The immaculate white Ford, the Proflex sponsored car, leads the race at the moment. In second place, chasing on behind is Pavel Kautny. Kuipers leading, Kautny second. The gap though is widening between the pair. Jos Kuipers looking good for a win here. He accelerates his way over the line. He's pulling away I think now from the opposition. Jos Kuipers then serves his Joker lap. Andreas Eriksson is behind him trying to get back into the hunt here. And Kuipers looking very, very strong indeed. He uses lots of curb there up on the inside of the road. Powering his way now over that little yump, then down towards that slightly banked hairpin. Harold Zachve down in 3rd place at present. Is he going to be able to make any progress before the end of the race here? You can see, oh, now that is Jean-Luc Payet, who is off the road. And looking as though he's in trouble somehow. Jean-Luc's okay. And he's about to explain what happened. He says the landing after the jump was very, very hard and I was totally out of breath. The doctor said that a rib had moved, but I'll try to continue. A brave man is Jean-Luc Payet, and that shows just how much strain is put on the body in a rallycross car. You've seen the speeds over those jumps, and a very heavy landing meant that Jean-Luc had to instantly clamber out and try and get his breath back. Well, he's okay. Whether we'll see him on track again, we'll have to find out. Another heat underway then. Per Eklund is on the grid for this one, so also Tommy Rushdat, Lars Larsen here as well. Kenneth Hansen, though, second at the first corner. Per Eklund gets ahead of him. Per Eklund leads then in the Saab. Kenneth Hansen serves his joker lap this time around. Now, Per Eklund is leading. There's a rather battered Ford Focus, second in the hands of the former British touring car racer, Tommy Rushdat. Rushdat coming under pressure as well there from Marko Jokinen. The cars accelerating their way through the corner, but Per Eklund here is building up an advantage in the Saab. Per, one of the great competitors, great characters of the European Rallycross Championship. Maybe he's not quite as quick as he was, and that's Kenneth Hansen, who is parked on the side of the road. Hansen in problems. Per Eklund now looks like he's going to be able to come through to score victory. But Kenneth Hansen, although he's already qualified for the A final, is going no further in this race. Eklund just ahead, but only just ahead. Right up behind him now is Olaf Stenvall as they come up through the last corner. Flag at the ready. Eklund wins. Stenvall is second. Lars Larsen is on the grid for this race. So also is Sverre Isaksson, Michael Jernberg and Morten Bammingrud. Lights go out now. Everybody blast away, and who's going to make the best start? Sverre Isaksson, I think, has got his nose in front. Yes, he leads. Lars Larsen tucks in behind him, and round the outside there storms Morten Bammingrud. He goes for the joker lap, the longer lap early on. Serve that now, whilst everybody else is pretty close together. Relatively speaking, he'll lose less time by doing that now. Sverre Isaksson, though, is the race leader at present. In second place behind him, there you can see Lars Larsen. Sverre Isaksson, Lars Larsen, 1 and 2, nose to tail as they come over the line now. It's the Ford just ahead of the Skoda. Both of them serve the joker lap this time. Isaksson bounces back onto the circuit, kicks loads of dust into the face of everybody else behind him. That is one of the real problems about this circuit this weekend. It's been very, very dusty indeed. Great weather for the spectators, apart from those having to choke on the dust, but it really is not helping visibility. Isaksson takes the flag. Isaksson wins. Christian Petrokovic and Michael de Keersmaeker on this B final grid in Division 1A. Magnus Hansen there too, as out go the lights. Krzysztof Gromlewski makes a reasonably good start as the field sprints then down towards the first corner. And one driver still with his door wide open. A rather tardy start from 1 or 2, but it looks as though he's going to be Christian Petrokovic who has the advantage then ahead of de Keersmaeker. Magnus Hansen goes for the joker lap early on. So Seat ahead of Vauxhall. Christian Petrokovic in the Seat Ibiza is at the moment just ahead. The Corsa in second place and Michael de Keersmaeker. I say Vauxhall, it's badged and Opel of course on the continent. And so de Keersmaeker, the Belgian, in the Opel Corsa in second place. But Christian Petrokovic, who's been getting better and better each time out within the European Championship, he's now leading and he's pulling away a bit from de Keersmaeker in second place here. Race leader Christian Petrokovic being reeled in now by Michael de Keersmaeker. Up towards the line they come. Petrokovic on the tarmac, about to rejoin from his joker lap is de Keersmaeker. That's cost him a bit of time, of course. It adds another couple of seconds or so to your lap. Now de Keersmaeker under pressure here. Magnus Hansen it is, tucked up behind him. The pair of them making their way once more over the line. Krzysztof Gromlewski trying to hunt down everybody else and gain some places, but that is not looking all that easy for him. Petrokovic up front now. Is he going to be able to score victory in this B final? If he does, he will qualify for the A final, of course, by this. And he's built up such a big lead. He's still going to have to serve the joker lap, though, so he's not home and dry yet. But behind him, de Keersmaeker is involved in such a fierce fight now. It looks as though he's going to delay himself. Tucked up behind him is Magnus Hansen. The two head back over the loose, over the jump. De Keersmaeker, then Hansen. Magnus Hansen here trying to get onto terms with Michael de Keersmaeker, but this time Petrokovic goes for the joker lap. He's got to serve it now. What will his lead be? He runs very wide over the bank. That's going to delay him a little bit, I think, and de Keersmaeker goes through. Despite that huge lead that Petrokovic had built up, he loses the lead and then barges his way through on the inside. Takes de Keersmaeker off, takes himself off to boot. Michael de Keersmaeker rather rudely nerfed out of the way, and that was definitely not his fault. Christian Petrokovic, very determined, storms through on the inside, and all of that now means that Magnus Hansen is on target to win, and he does win the B final. Krzysztof Gromlewski second, and this is the A final. Morten Jespersen on pole position. Magnus Hansen will join in then as the B final winner right at the very back. Jussi Pinomäki, another driver to watch then on the outside of row 1. There's Jimmy Falsbo, nearest starts in 1-1-4. Away they go. Down towards the first corner, Magnus Hansen on the very outside in the little Citroen, trying to make a good start, and he's done it around the outside. He's gone up into second, he's gone for the lead, and he hits the leader, knocks him sideways. Hansen from 6th to 2nd, and then really spoils it by charging into the door of the race leader's car. Morten Jespersen with a banana-shaped car looks like he's in real trouble. And that now means that we have Jussi Pinomäki ahead of Jaroslav Kalny, the Division 1A drivers producing bags of action here. Jussi Pinomäki, race leader, understeers his way into the last corner on the lap. Jaroslav Kalny doing the chasing. Now the way that he's going suggests that Pinomäki might be able to hang on in there. He's going really well now. Hansen out of the race there. Jespersen out of the race through no fault of his own. The race leader on the tarmac, Jussi Pinomäki. I thought for a moment he might have had a problem. The car just seemed to hesitate slightly there. He has got a problem. Pinomäki has slowed right down, look. Jussi Pinomäki, the race leader, grinds to a halt. The Renault is in real trouble. That now means that Jaroslav Kalny will take over the race lead. He's got Zdeněk Čermák in second, Jimmy Falsbo third, and Kalny is going to not only win the race, he's going to extend his lead in the championship as well. There's a bit of smoke from the back of the car. Was that tar smoke? Let's see. There's the flag, there's the win. Jaroslav Kalny wins from Zdeněk Čermák second, Jimmy Falsbo third. Jussi Pinomäki is classified fourth ahead of Jespersen, and then Magnus Hansen in sixth. This is the Division 2A final. Everybody accelerates away from the line. Niklas Hagström takes the best start. Again, it's a fairly rowdy approach to the first corner. 1 or 2 run wide, 1 or 2 lean on each other, and now they get themselves into a semblance of order then. Niklas Hagström making the best start. He leads Matthias Thoresen. He's in second place. Now, if Thoresen finishes there, that's going to put him into the lead in the championship. Look at that for getting loads of air under the car. A totally airborne Niklas Hagström then coming through to score victory. The Honda Civic takes the checker flag. Hagström wins from Thoresen second, Roman Jasrel third, and with it Matthias Thoresen continues to lead and indeed pull away in the lead now of the championship. Division 1 gave this incident for Andreas Eriksson. Broken rear suspension, a wheel parting company with the car, pitched Eriksson into a big spin at the last corner. Despite the broken suspension, he carried on. This, the B final. There's Per Eklund, ready for business. Ola Stenvall is there as well. Out go the lights for Carl's blast away from the grid now. Eklund on the inside makes the best start. He's got the lead for turn 1. Per Eklund leads. Up on the inside though goes Ola Stenvall. Carl Gunnar Lundqvist is third, and it looks as though Tommy Rushdat goes now for his joker lap, and a big slide there. Demolishing the markers, that is Stenvall. Per Eklund gives him a helping hand as well. Ola Stenvall is in the lead. Per Eklund is second. The Saab 900 ahead of the Saab 93, ahead of the Volvo. A very Swedish field to the front of the grid here in this B final in round 5 of the European Rallycross Championship from Huljesbanen in Sweden, and it is Ola Stenvall then in the lead. Per Eklund in second as they drop down to the last corner. Eklund using the curb on the inside, trying to sprint up alongside Stenvall. They touch, but Eklund is denied a chance to go by. Turning their way for the joker lap this time. Eklund goes through, does he? Stenvall runs a little bit wide. Eklund was level with him, but he can't go through. And as they get back onto the circuit, somewhere in that dust cloud, Stig-Olof Alfredsson is ahead of Eklund now. It's all action as Eklund forces his way up alongside. Through the hairpin, Eklund again looking to get a tight line, cut the corner maybe, use the curve to his advantage. Tommy Rushdat is leading now. Carl Gunnar Lundqvist is second, Ola Stenvall is third, Stig-Olof Alfredsson is fourth, and Per Eklund is down in fifth. Through they turn to get back onto the power now, sprinting their way over the line. But Tommy Rushdat, having served his joker lap right at the very start, he's now secure in the lead. Not only that, he's also pulled away from the rest of them. Stenvall, then it is Alfredsson. Eklund is now fourth as Carl Gunnar Lundqvist serves his joker lap this time. Jos Kuipers then at the back of the field. If Tommy Rushdat wins this, he will go through in, of course, to the A final, and it looks like he's going to do it. Down to the last corner. Checker flag at the ready. Qualification for the A final is what matters as there. Eklund barges his way past Stenvall for second place. Per Eklund being very brutal in the way he takes second, but Tommy Rushdat wins the B final, and he now is on the back of the grid for the A final. Onto the grid they come. This, the race of the weekend. It's the one everybody is waiting for. Isaksson on pole. Jernberg alongside him. Out go the lights. Hansen and Lars Larsson the second row. And then you've got on the third row the grid Stig-Olof Alfredsson and Tommy Rustad. And the cars now turn their way through into the first corner. Isaksson leading. Michael Jernberg, though, dives up on the inside. Kenneth Hansen goes wide to serve his joker lap, but he's already got damage. Jernberg, it is leading. Lars Larsson is second as they turn their way from loose to the tarmac. Jernberg going a little bit wide. The two Swedes, first and second. Jernberg ahead of Larsson. Then in third, it's Sverre Isaksson as they launch themselves over the jump. This very, very fast approach in the last corner. It's slippery, it's fast. Tommy Rustad, indeed it is, in third place. Over the line they go. Now, is Jernberg going to serve his joker lap this time? The answer is no, but Tommy Rustad will from third place then. Rustad serving his joker lap now. There's the leader, Jernberg. There in second place is Lars Larsson. And Kenneth Hansen, Citroen, looking rather battle-scarred, further back in the pack here. Jernberg goes wide, Larsson goes up alongside him. Heading into the hairpin now, the two of them almost overlap. And now as they come over the jump, the gap is right down between the pair. Larsson now trying to unsettle Jernberg, who throws the back of the car out. He runs wide, but he keeps the momentum up, and Larsson is right with him as they go over the line. Jernberg hangs on to the lead. Fantastic race this. This is the all-important A final. Heading back towards us, Jernberg it is. Now he was a little bit slow out of this corner last time, and that gave Larsson a chance to have a go at him. This time though, Jernberg hangs on to the advantage, and Lars Larsson is denied a chance, mainly because he's having to defend from Eriksson, and Larsson's got a problem. He slowed right down, look. Lars Larsson is in trouble. Lars Larsson out of the race as now Kenneth Hansen goes up into third. And Morten Bermingrud there barges away past Tommy Rustad, and Rustad's got broken rear suspension. You can see the angle of the wheel now. Michael Jernberg this time serves his joker lap, and that's going to put Isaksson and Hansen, I think, now first and second. Let's just see where they all blend back in. Yes, Isaksson it is leading, and Kenneth Hansen second. Norway versus Sweden on a Swedish track. If Sverre Isaksson wins this, he's going to be absolutely delighted. Kenneth Hansen is not going to be so happy, though. He desperately wants to win on home ground. Into the last corner they come. Sverre Isaksson looks like he's going to be able to hang on in there. Checker flag at the ready. Sverre Isaksson wins in Sweden. The Norwegian beats the Swede, Kenneth Hansen. Well, Kenneth responds to the applause of the crowd, but there is a very, very happy Sverre Isaksson.
The final was very hard. I have a good start, and I was first in the first corner, but Michael came inside me and pushed me out, but he had the car in the back. So I took the joker lap in the first round, and when I coming out of the joker lap, I saw I have a chance to win that race, so that was very, very good.
So Sverre Isaksson wins from Kenneth Hansen, Morten Bermingrud third. Tommy Rustad limps home fourth, and Michael Jernberg, having led early on, only in the end manages fifth. The celebrations then here, the happiest though is the Viking. Sverre Isaksson wins, and there he is joined on the podium by Kenneth Hansen at the end of another all-action round of the European Rallycross Championship. Morten Bermingrud joins them on the podium as well. Fantastic racing here in Sweden. Kenneth Hansen, though, still leads the championship. He has a 10-point advantage now over Lars Larsson. Morten Bermingrud third ahead of Jos Kuipers, and he's only 1 point up on Tommy Rustad. Next week on World Motorsports, the Formula 3 Euro Series continues its championship.